launched FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1.
Let's start.
Hello, sports fans.
Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by.
Now, here's JP.
All right, welcome into the Thursday edition of the JP Peterson Show. What is up, my friends? I'm jacked up for today's show. Got like 6 cups of coffee in me already, 5-hour energy. I might implode today, right on the air. I don't know why I did all that, but it's, I don't know.
Can you pass some of that my way, please? I could use some of it this morning.
I got a gift pack the other day, and we were at the Lightning Vision party, and they said, take a gift pack. And my boss says, take 2. So inside those were 2 cases, I guess a 10-pack of 5-hour energy extra. So I got 4 total. So now I got like 40 bottles of 5-hour energy
That's
extra.
Not to question the Lightning, but that's an odd gift to include at a party, no?
I don't know. There were also Do-si-dos and chocolate cookies in there, so I got 4 boxes of those.
Oh, things exactly what you need.
So it was just like parting gift. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know where.
So
where it all
chocolate
came
chip cookies and 5-hour energy.
Yeah, and 2 bags of Starbucks coffee too. I don't think they were trying to like you people aren't energetic
I was
enough
saying, are
at
they
work.
saying that you're low energy?
I don't know. Everybody got it. It wasn't just me. I'm like, what? Okay, whatever. So yeah, just here's a big bag full of caffeine. Go out and conquer the world. So anyway, I'm hopped up this morning. Hope you guys are too. We got lots of good fun stuff to get to. All kinds of crazy stories going on out there. Just to name a few. We're going to get to the Rays. Obviously, Taj Bradley was freaking phenomenal yesterday. I'm excited about his future. So we'll get into that. J.C. Allen from Pewter Report's going to join us at 11:30. We'll kick around some mini camp stuff, look ahead to training camp. The Gators are into the College World Series final. We'll find out who they play after tonight's game. Who is it, TCU?
No, it's LSU and Wake Forest.
LSU and Wake. Okay.
LSU got them last night, so game 2 tonight. And if you're not familiar with this Paul Skeens, by the way, potentially the number 1 pick. He's either going to be number 1 or number 2. His teammate Dylan Cruz is going to be number 1 and number 2.
Jesus.
This Paul Skeens, they said, is the best pitching prospect, said Steven Strasburg. And trust me, when you watch him, you'll believe it.
Yeah. He'll blow people away. So that's coming up. We'll get into that a little bit. We got some fun stuff for you since it's summertime. We're going to get into some fun poll questions as well. Joan Jett was at the game yesterday. She's got a concert coming up with Bryan Adams.
He's wearing the wrong shirt, though.
She's an Orioles fan.
If you're doing a concert in Tampa and you're mingling around the community, don't wear the opposing team's shirt in America's ballpark. What's the matter with you?
I respect that more than being
Joan?
fake. Like, every guy that does a concert has to put on the jersey of the home
Absolutely.
team. No. I would much rather you be true to your fandom. Yeah, you're an Orioles fan. Put your Orioles thing on. What do I hate her because she's an Orioles fan?
Honorary Rays fan for the night.
Respect the girl. Respect her.
You know what? Baker Mayfield showed up to a game with his favorite team, and I don't see him wearing a Rangers hat.
She's an Orioles fan.
I don't care.
Think how much she's gone through. My God. The pain, the humiliation, 3 straight 100-loss seasons, and she still puts Orioles on her chest? Mad respect.
Is she the most famous Orioles fan out there?
Gotta be.
Who's the most famous Rays fan out there?
I think Vidal. Dickie V.
Have you seen the photo of Damian Lillard walking around though with the Rays hat on?
What?
There's like that photo. I've seen it in like
Dame
recent
time?
days. Dame, when he showed up to a game, he was actually wearing this exact hat. Actually, I could tell because it had the little 47 logo on the side and it had this logo. He was wearing this Tampa Bay Devil Rays hat.
What's the connection?
I don't think there's any connection. I think he just think it looked cool.
Must be coming to Miami.
Remember Odell when he wore the Devil Rays shirt in batting practice?
Maybe it's just a cool shirt to wear.
I think we're just cool.
It's just the colors are cool.
And we should go to it full time.
I don't have a problem with that, except the socks.
No, the socks stay. The socks stay.
Oh my God, the socks are awful. Yeah, so we'll get into some of that. We asked a poll question. If you could have, you remember when the Rays used to do concerts, right?
I think they did one, 2-3 weeks ago as well. They brought that back.
Oh, that's right, they did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that used to be like a big deal.
Yeah, it sounded like it was a pretty big hit.
Back when they were like marketing the team and stuff back in those days. Yeah, so we did a little poll question for you. I'm trying to find it here. With Joan Jett taking in a Rays game, which legendary rocker would you like to see at Tropicana Field? Let me just retweet this sucker. We gave you Bon Jovi, Kiss, Bruce Springsteen, or other, and then comment below. Intern Nick says Metallica or AC/DC. I'm not sure the Trop can handle that.
Can you imagine
that would literally blow that the freaking catwalks would come down with Metallica and AC/DC.
The acoustics would be unreal, though.
It'd be so bad.
Bad.
In that place, acoustics are terrible in there.
I don't know. I think it would be great.
That's one of the bad things about a concert in there. It's like you get this echo. It's just not great, but it's it's more about just the fun of it.
I voted for Kiss. To hell with doing your last concert in Madison Square Garden. Come to the Trop. Come to the Trop. What are you doing?
Yeah. No,
Madison Square Garden is the real mausoleum. Come on.
I once went to a Southern rock show with Molly Hatchet, The Outlaws, and 38 Special, your favorite band.
That would have been my pick, yeah.
But if I had like a fantasy one, it'd be a triple with Leonard Skinner in there as well. That would be epic.
You'd see that.
That would be epic.
If they were, God rest their soul, Tom Petty, if he was still alive.
There would be so many jorts in that place, you couldn't.
Shorts and cut-off T-shirts. Cut-off T-shirts, but not cut-off T-shirts that you buy. It's the ones that you actually get the scissors and you make it your own.
You don't buying a cut-off T-shirt has got to be the worst thing. Come on, what are we doing? You don't buy it.
They're too thin.
You hoodie it. You do what Belichick does. You don't buy it. You make it.
That little strap is too thin, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's way too thin. You got to open that sucker up and get it like right here.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's your new Mo shirt too.
Got to get a little angle on it.
Exactly.
Makes your skinny little redneck arms look bigger. Yeah, absolutely. No,
I'm having flashbacks. That's exactly what my dad did to every shirt, and my mom absolutely hated it. He would wear the same exact outfit you're talking about, jean shorts, and then he'd wear like the white socks that would come up a little bit with white shoes, only white shoes, would not wear dark shoes. And then he'd have that cut-off T-shirt, and he would go to, like, every Sunday, he'd go to, like, Home Depot with my mom, and my mom didn't want to be near him in the store. She said he was embarrassing him. He's just like, that's just how I dress. I'm going to Home Depot. I'm not going to a fashion show.
Right.
Respect.
Exactly. Oh, those are some of the old school acts that would be just outstanding. So if you bring it back, Joan Jett, I've seen her a couple times. She's good. She's good. She can rock it. She still rocks it pretty hard. Bryan Adams, probably not as big a fan as many were back in the 80s and 90s. The Canadian rocker, but he had some good stuff. I'd definitely go see that concert. That'd be a little nostalgia. So you can take that little poll and. You can mention whoever you guys want to mention out there. We got a couple other polls today, too, don't we?
Yeah, we got one in light of the NBA draft tonight.
Yes.
What is your favorite draft to watch on TV? Which I'm going to assume everybody is mostly consensus on this one.
Yeah, does anybody even watch the NBA draft?
Nobody
watches the baseball draft. Of course, intern Nick does.
I stick for like the first like 15 picks of the NBA draft. I stick around for.
Yeah.
Tonight I'll probably stick through 11 because the Magic have 6 and 11.
6 and 11. Okay.
The NHL draft, I don't think I've ever watched a second of that because the Lightning are never picking up top where it matters.
I went to the NHL draft in Dallas one year for my old station, and it was like it's tough.
It seems a little low energy.
A lot of guys named Rasmus were drafted.
Well, there's never any like.
When there's a draft, lots of guys named Rasmus are being drafted. I don't know any of them.
Well, I
don't know a person named Rasmus.
When was the last time the NHL draft had like a dispute?
There were literally like 3 Rasmuses drafted in that first round.
When was the last time the NHL draft had like a dispute for the number 1 pick? It feels like it's always like pre-decided, like
one guy's
a year in advance,
like miles better than everybody.
And that's
else.
why I have no interest.
Kind of
in
like the NBA this year.
Yeah.
And with
Maybe
Zion.
I might tell you later how it shouldn't be that way. But,
What? You cannot pick anybody but Mr.
Oh, really?
WNBA.
Oh, really?
That's what they're calling it. It's now the WNBA.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't want to get into it right now, so you can wait a little bit. I'll give you my true takes on this NBA draft and this generational prospect.
I'm
and Victor Wembanyama.
On the edge of my seat. Bucks talk. A Joe Bucks fan had a quick little article about how the Bucks secondary is perceived in terms of rankings, and boy, when you think about it, a lot of the national media are like, okay, you got 2 corners there that are elite, being paid as elite corners. And to me, the market tells me who's good and who's not, more than anything, better than most rankings. And those 2 guys need to learn how to catch the football. That would be nice, but they're great cover corners and should allow this defense to be really, really good. One of the reasons I'm excited about it. And the addition of Ryan Neal. So we'll get into that a little bit. And a couple other cute stories. The keynote speaker at the Psychedelics Conference in New York. Do we venture a guess who that might be? Yes, that's your man, Aaron Rodgers. Yes, he was the keynote speaker. We talk about, drugs and NFL and, what's allowed and what's not allowed. So I guess, you can't take certain supplements, but you can do mushrooms in microdosing, of course. That's okay. Listen, I personally have not done the microdosing yet, but I'm very interested in doing so.
Didn't Jake Plummer fill you in at the Super Bowl about this?
Yes, I'm hooked.
Perfect brand representative, by the way, for that.
Exactly.
Whatever he had around his neck, I can't even remember what that thing is. Are we calling it a satchel?
It was a half satchel, half Bota bag.
But it looked like it was kind of braided though. Yeah. Like in a unique way.
It would be somewhere where you would keep your mushrooms. That's a mushroom.
He's definitely a guy that he's on my list of guys I'd want to have a beer with.
Yeah, absolutely.
He seems like he's very interesting.
Well, I want to get into some of the things that Aaron Rodgers said, and vis-a-vis his teammates, and how because he's done this with his teammates. He's smoked the ayahuasca. I like ayahuasca better. It sounds better. With some of his teammates, and that came out. And there's another fun story about the epic partying of Rob Gronkowski, which is from one of his former teammates. We're going to get into that story as well, which is just absolutely fantastic. So we got a lot of fun stuff to get into today. So sit back, relax, enjoy the big show today, and please get on Twitter and vote in our silly little polls that give us some conversation points. So yeah, we're picking it up today with the summer content. So let's get into it. First and foremost, your Rays yesterday, I guess we should say. Hell of a job by Taj Bradley. And, we've got a big enough sample size here where I'm just salivating at this guy's ability. The right-handed McClanahan, as we're calling him now. He's got this kind of – the movement that we saw yesterday, the efficiency that I saw yesterday, the way he can dance the ball inside and out and make it go both ways and up and down. And this kid is just scratching the strip. He's a baby. He's just a baby. I mean, it's really exciting. But you know what happens every time I get excited about a young Rays pitcher?
What is that?
I'm not going to say it.
Please, I know exactly what you're thinking. We'll leave it unsaid.
Well, all right, let's just leave it unsaid.
Let's leave it unsaid.
You all know what we're thinking.
Don't bring the bad juju to this great young man.
Okay.
Don't do it.
Fair enough. But why is it? But it sucks that that's what comes to my mind. So we'll just go right past it. We'll just go right past the elephant in the room, shake the trunk, and say thank you very much. We'll just not talk about that right now. But he was fantastic yesterday. A career high 6 innings against a really good Baltimore offense. They did what we said they needed to do, which is get out to an early lead with back-to-back home runs from Randy and Paredes, and go on to get the 7-2 win. And this is. Gave up 3 hits, struck out 8, and didn't walk anybody. And after the game, that's what he was all about. Like, I didn't walk anybody. That's where I want to be. And I'm like, yeah. You couldn't be more excited about a kid. And Cash even mentioned it after the game about his demeanor. His demeanor certainly belies his 22-year-old age, absolutely. But it's just so calm and cool and collected. He just doesn't get rattled. He just doesn't get too high. He's like completely stoic out there. He's just like chill, and he's doing things that rookie pitchers just don't do. And it's fabulous to watch. Like, he's one of those guys that you like to watch pitch because of the way he can control it and spin it. And he's what 8 starts into his pro career?
10
starts. I mean, Jiminy Christmas.
And I will tell you this, 2 points. First and foremost, what I love about this is the Rays, they've always been sticklers with the whole service time deal, right? And holding guys off.
Right.
I mean, when have the Rays ever really, especially a pitcher, 22 years old, said, you know what, kid, go get him.
They got no choice.
I mean, they had no choice, right? But, I mean, if
Let's
the race...
not give them too many props now. I mean...
Yeah, but listen, they still could have kept holding him off, and they have arms in AAA that they could have continued to bring up and gotten diminishing results from. But they said, you know what? We're going to go with Taj. To hell with the service time. We're in win-now mode. Let's go hit the best guy on the mound. So I give him...
Shocking development.
I do give him props for that, and you see the rewards there. They did the same thing with Wander Franco, which obviously was a player you're going to do it to. But he's 22 years old, and he just turned 22, by the way. He's barely 22. He's a baby, like you said. And I will say this right now. I don't know if this is a hot take. Taj Bradley is the greatest pitcher, the best pitcher the Rays have ever developed. Already. And my here's and hold up. At this point, he is. No, they drafted David Price.
Did they draft?
Yeah, he was first overall.
Who was I thinking? Yeah, Garza they traded for. Right?
No,
the only
let me explain. Let me explain though my reasoning. I mean, at this point, have you ever seen a Rays pitcher that they drafted, developed, came through the system, and has been this good at this age and not had command issues or anything like that? A start where like the rails have fallen off. Because I think about, I mean, David Price started. He wasn't as good. He wasn't great in his 2009 season. It was 2010 that he really took off. Yeah. And obviously he didn't even start as a starter. He was a bullpen guy. Closer in the playoffs, obviously.
But I think he was a starter through the minor leagues.
Correct. Yeah, but I mean when they get to the majors. Blake Snell, we recall they had to send him back down to the minors because it just wasn't working there.
Yeah, he couldn't find the strike zone.
In 2016, I want to say it is. Mm-hmm. And some other guys on that list. I have not seen a Rays pitcher come up this young and be this good, this effective, and not be fazed by anything. So that's why I think right now, at this very moment, he looks like the best pitcher they have ever developed.
Yeah, with this Shane McClanahan.
But even Shane had go through some. I mean, legitimately, the second
they first came up,
they came up, I didn't look at him and I said, "Oh, he's got command issues," or "Man, he's struggling with this." Or I don't know what this guy struggles with right now. Yeah. He's blowing guys away. He's got 71 strikeouts in 49 innings, which, by the way, if you equate that to all the pitchers in the big leagues right now, he's got the second best K percentage in the entire big leagues right now. At 34.5% for starters. The second best.
Second best.
Yes, and fielding independent pitching, which, again, is one of those numbers that a lot of people point to where it evens everything out. He's first. He's first among pitchers. There's like a bunch of other numbers here that I won't bore you with.
No, bore me with the numbers. Nicky numbers. Give it to us.
He's first in FIP. He's first in XFIP. He's second in K percentage.
You need to explain those things. Come on. Your Nicky numbers. We count on you to explain these things to us. So
they're very difficult to explain.
No, they're not. You do it very well.
But I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not the most well versed in these things.
Just give us the overview of what they mean. Fielding independent.
Fielding it just kind of evens everything up. Okay. It is like kind of like it's closer to like a WAR, I'd kind of say, for like a pitcher. If you kind of had to put it down to that. K percentage kind of just speaks to itself.
Of course.
And then even K to walk percentage, it's 27.2, which is second in the big leagues.
That's unbelievable for a young
For a
pitcher.
22-year-old, his K to walk percentage is second in the big leagues.
That's nuts.
That's what I'm saying. I think he's the best pitcher the Rays have developed to this point.
I mean, when this guy really learns how to pitch, it's lights out. So, as I said yesterday, I think we need to go get a starting pitcher, a quality elder statesman type starting pitcher that has been in the postseason. You never know how players are going to react to the postseason, but this guy's mental makeup and his demeanor. Let's just go ahead and play this now. Let's play his post game from yesterday. And if you tell me this is a 22-year-old making his 10th start in the big leagues, and when you listen to this demeanor that he has, and then we'll play Cash as well, who talked a little bit about this. I mean, it's just it's uncanny, and you hate to get wacky, crazy excited like you're getting. You're at it, but you make good points. The numbers back it up.
The numbers back up my eyes.
10 starts is not 3 starts. Okay,
right.
Said Mr. Obvious, Captain Obvious. 10 starts, I'm not saying it's a huge sample size, but it's a pretty damn good one. To say, can this guy do it in this league? People have got tape on him now. They've adjusted to him. They understand what he's doing. Not to the level that they will in 10 more starts, but yeah. And he's still getting better and better and better. So here's Taj after yesterday's. And by the way, critical game first 3-game losing streak, need a starter to go out there and give it to you, and he steps up.
All right, Taj, you certainly went deeper into the game this time, 8 strikeouts. How did you feel today, and how good did it feel to go deeper into the game?
Man, everything felt good. My body felt good. Pitches worked well, and just going into the 6th, I was just more happy than anything, and more happy about no walks than the 8 strikeouts.
Did you feel like you did have a nice mix of all of your pitches today?
Yeah, I saw I got, 2 strikeouts with every pitch, so that's a good mix to me, and everything just felt well. I threw everything in different counts and started off hitters off speeds and finished with the fastball and vice versa.
Kevin Cash was complimenting you just on the perspective that you're able to have and the confidence that you've come in with. Have you always had that type of perspective and that type of confidence throughout your career, or is that something you've learned this season?
No, that's something I had to pick up throughout the minor leagues. Obviously, I came in not being a pitcher once I got drafted and having to go through the trials and tribulations, ups and downs. So just keeping a level head, I figured that was just the best way to get me through the minor league process.
Just how motivated were you coming into the start, especially kind of the frustration you expressed about your last outing?
I don't know about motivation, man. Just go into an outing the same way every time. Just because it was rough last week doesn't mean that's my fire to go into this week. It's just keep the same head.
You can't fully control it, but were you of the mindset to try to get into the 6th today, to try to get through 5?
I mean, that's me every time. Go deep into the game, do majority of the game, and that's pretty much it. No matter the inning, 5+, 6+, 7+, I just want to go until the manager shakes my hand and says I'm out the game.
And after the home run, which is really only your only bump in the road today, you retired the next 10. Is there anything that even locked into further place after that for you, after the home run?
That doesn't faze me at all. It's just, a solo bomb isn't going to beat you, so I'm not going to be upset about that. Just get the next hitters out like I did.
Good. Oh, sorry. Oh, I was just the early runs, getting that 4th spot before you went out for a second. Just how important was that to you, and did that help you relax, or are you cognizant of those things as they go on?
I mean, run support is always beneficial and helpful to a pitcher. You're always excited to have it. So that's pretty much it. I was excited when the runs came in and how they were scored, but as you go out there pitching the same way, even with the lead, learn how to pitch with a lead. Something you got to learn too.
Do you consider this, and I think you were asked a couple starts ago what you considered your best start. Do you consider this up there, given 6 innings, given no walks?
Yeah, this is one. Yeah, this is number 1 right here. Yeah.
Because of no walks? Because
of no walks, yeah. Not the strikeouts. Because there's no walks and went 6 innings, I just feel like I pitched good.
There you go. He already knows the free passes are the thing that are going to kill you. There are big league pitchers that have been doing this for 10 years that still don't get that.
Right.
That still nibble. That still, don't trust their stuff. And this kid's like, well, no, I got good stuff. Here you go. You want to try to hit it? Hit it.
Yeah, it's just such a confidence to him. And even jumped out there. I mean, this guy had 11 strikeouts in his last outing and struck out 9 of the first 9 out. 9 of his first 9 outs were all strikeouts. Yeah. And he described it as rough.
Yeah.
Described it as rough.
Because I think he had, 4 walks in there?
Because he had some walks in there, and then he couldn't get through 5 innings, which was a big deal to him.
And mostly because he walked a couple guys and gave up a couple flares.
But here's the thing. It's like
balls.
But even when I saw that, I went, okay, well, he's 22 years old. He's not going to have everything together at once. So if he's going to have some kind of deficiencies in his game, that's okay because he's 22. But that wasn't content with him. And then he comes right back out against a red-hot team right now, 3-game losing streak. The lead in the AL East in the loss column was down to 2. Going to this one. This team has had your number. They just put up an 8 spot on you the night before. The guy who's making $25 million couldn't solve them in the first 2 innings of work. Mm-hmm. And the 22-year-old rookie comes out there and just blows them away. He's fantastic. And I think he's going to get on one of these runs here. Obviously, Rookie of the Year, he's going to be in every bit of consideration for that. And I said it maybe a few starts ago. He almost has that, I remember Matt Harvey to me was the last guy as a rookie who I remember was so electric. In 2013?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying Todd just to that level because Matt Harvey at that point was on a Cy Young trajectory, but he's pretty damn close. And in five outings, I think, so half of the outings have been 8 strikeouts or more. I mean, that's fantastic.
Crazy.
Right? This is a centerpiece of this team for years to come next to McClanahan. It's not to rain on the Tyler Glasnow or anything like that, but you're looking at the future of this team. It's McClanahan and Taj Bradley. Right now, Tyler Glasnow to me is far from that.
Yeah, he's got the stuff. It's just, the injury.
It's the age. The age history, too. He's going to be 30 years old. Taj is 22.
Yeah, he's 30 years old, and the only, two things that Glass now has proven that he is super special stuff, and you can't count on him. Unfortunately, you just can't because of just who he is and what he is. And so that's why I say we got to go get somebody else. But now with Taj pitching the way he is and Eflin as good as he's been, is the starting guy your priority now? No, it's the high leverage reliever. That's what they got to find. They got to find a guy to pair with Fairbanks, and give you a little bit of insurance in case Fairbanks gets hurt. So that's got to be their number one priority. But do they need a bat? I don't know. Where are you going to fit it? Is Aranda? You keep talking about Aranda at AAA. I haven't watched too much of what he's doing down there.
He's been killing it lately.
Yeah, the guy can hit. The guy can rake. We just got to find.
You can't put him in the field.
That's the thing. This pitching and defense is what this team is all about. Always has been. And if you can't play at a high level defensively, it's just not the Rays' way. So, we'll see if somebody else takes him off our hands, get something for him, whatever. If he becomes a better defender, who knows? Maybe there's a spot for him. They got to try to find him because the guy can rake, no doubt. But right now, the guys at the major league level are doing a pretty good job. And Randy Arozarena, he just continues to absolutely dazzle me with what he did. And yesterday, we'll pick it up in the second inning, and this is his first at-bat after taking a Bautista 100-mile-an-hour fastball in the rib cage and not even flinching. And and he DH'd yesterday, so it's probably why he DH'd, is probably a little sore, you think, in the ribs. So he was so hurt, he did this in his first at-bat.
There's a high shot deep into left. Hayes will go to the wall. That baby's gone. Home run of Arozarena.
Into Randy Land.
I wish it was Friday night. We would have had free cerveza there.
That's right.
Free cerveza.
Did the guys do the show from Randyland yesterday?
I believe that's Friday night, tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night.
I want to say they're doing the show there from Randyland.
Chances he hits a home run into Dwayne's lap.
It's happening.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's happening.
Because that's what he does.
Just what he does.
And
if you're Tyler don't throw 91 right over the middle of the plate.
Probably
to Randy Arozarena. Don't do it.
Not a good idea. Probably his 14th home run of the year, leading the Rays, and hopefully heading for an all-star start.
And by the way, my reverse, it worked. Yesterday I mentioned to you he's been slumping. I brought up the numbers and all that kind of stuff. Get it going.
Negative karma.
I don't want you in the home run derby. And what does he do? He just goes and has a
home run derby. 3 hits yesterday.
3 for 3 and
single double.
3 for 3 and a walk. He got on base every single time. The average, just like that, the average goes up 10 points. The OPS is back over 900. He's got 50 RBIs on the season. He's leading the All-Star voting right now in the outfield next to Mike Trout and Aaron Judge. Heard of him?
Yep.
So, there you go.
He's a bona fide superstar.
He's a star.
Yeah. He's a bona fide global superstar.
I'm not calling him a superstar. You know my rules on superstars.
He's probably more popular in Mexico than he is in the United States, which is interesting.
Potentially.
Yeah. But, hey, give the man his flowers, every part of it.
Well, let's give another man his flowers because the Rays went back-to-back in the second inning, which I believe they've done on 5 times this year, potentially. But here was Isaac Paredes.
Leading the American League in home runs, the Rays are.
It's all coming together. There's a shot down the line towards the corner, and that ball is gone. Home run over the low wall. Paredes, number 13.
Courtesy of Bally Sports Sun, all of our sound here today. So, yes, nicely done. Back-to-back, and then Taj Bradley did the rest. Siri did a nice job scoring on a 250-foot sac fly. Of course he did. That was I love the aggressiveness there. Again, when sometimes you're going to get out, but most times the Rays have turned this into positive results.
And to the point about Isaac Paredes, I continue to go back to the reaction that we had and so many had about the trade with Austin Meadows and all that kind of stuff.
Yes, that would be me. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Definitely have a lot of my heart goes out to Austin Meadows for whatever he's dealing with, obviously. So I'm not gonna, but I'm just gonna point out Austin Meadows has played in 42 games for the Tigers since that trade. And in that same time, Isaac Paredes has hit 33 home runs.
Wow.
He's almost hit as many home runs as the amount of games that Austin Meadows has played for the Tigers.
Do you think the Rays did the trade cause the mental illness? He got out of his comfort zone, or did the Rays see that coming? That's an interesting question. And nobody wants to answer it. Nobody will ask it.
It's almost uncomfortable to talk about because you never know with guys.
Yeah, you never know. But how do you trade a guy with 106 RBIs in the lineup that was?
Well, I tell you what. I mean, listen, maybe we didn't see it at the time, but we've been preaching about you got to take risks. You got to make hard moves to get things done and kind of get your ball club playing the way you want it to play. And that was a huge risk, I thought, that move.
It was. And look, listen, last year, you could say it cost them a lot because they never replaced the RBIs.
No, but
Josh Lowe didn't step up.
They
had no offense at the end of the year.
They were always thinking for the future. Third base, they definitely needed something over there because they wanted to move Yandy over to first. And Isaac has filled that. He's the third baseman of the now. He's the third base. He's only 24 years old.
Yeah.
I mean, and I looked at his numbers. I mean, he's played just a tick over 162 games for the Rays, and in that time, 33 home runs, 94 RBIs with a 125 OPS plus. I take that.
That's pretty good.
I'm taking that all day.
That's pretty damn good. So I was 100% wrong on that one. But, yeah, we hope Austin gets back to being the player that we know he can be. All right, so let's get to a little bit of Kevin Cash talking about his team's big 7-2 win as they look forward to the Royals coming in.
Josh Bradley, I guess, how effective was he today? He went 6 for the first time and struck out 8.
Yeah, pretty effective. I mean, Taj talked about being pretty motivated from bouncing back from what I thought was a pretty good outing. It just kind of snowballed right there in the 5th against Oakland, but he was so good to a very good lineup, controlled the count really well, used his power, even there at the end. I mean, he was pumping 97. It's pretty electric stuff. He's a good pitcher now, and he's only going to continue getting better.
The offense, obviously, swinging the bats well today, but Randy Arozarena, a couple RBI. He now has 50 RBI on the season. What are you seeing from him that's made him so effective?
Well, I mean, he's getting good pitches to hit, and when he gets them, he's picking us up in big ways. I mean, he certainly is performing like an all-star. The poise that he's showing at the plate and the awareness of not expanding, waiting on his pitch, and if they walk him, they walk him. He's okay with that. That's kind of been the difference maker from maybe last year to this year.
Going back to Taj, I mean, no walks also, which I think he'll probably say was a pretty good accomplishment from his standpoint.
Yeah, I thought he walked 1, but maybe okay.
What did you see as far as pitch selection? What was working today for him?
The fastball, the cutter, dropped in a couple curveballs. Threw a couple pretty good changeups to Hicks, but I mean it's a very fastball cutter heavy approach to both righty and lefty, and he's just gotten sync and rhythm with both of them.
And do you kind of see his confidence growing?
Yeah, I mean, but to his credit, he has from day one he's kind of come up here with a lot of confidence and shown that he's very even-keeled. He doesn't get emotional in the moment. And talking to him after games, it's really impressive the perspectives that he carries after every outing.
You needed a stopper, and he became that today. Is that how you kind of project him down the road as things shake out?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's a really good pitcher, and I do. I think he's really going to continue to get better. I think we all think that. We're fortunate to have a guy like that, and today, yeah, we did. We haven't played our best baseball here as of late, and we needed a good start to let the offense get rolling, and he did a tremendous job.
Those early runs, picking up, giving him a little support, and just...
Yeah, every pitcher in baseball is going to take early runs to let him kind of settle in, and he did that.
What you guys capitalized on some of Wells' misplays in the field in that second inning, too, after the home run?
Yeah, I mean, look, Siri, I was impressed. He was ready to hit when he came up there. I know he swung through or foul ball, but he put the ball in play. Sometimes you just got to put enough pressure on the defense. I know he didn't square it up, but it's a lot of speed. There's a lot of chaos and panic that goes on when he puts the ball in play, and we ended up getting 2 after the home runs from Randy and Isaac.
Putting pressure on, also tagging up on a 260-foot fly ball.
Yeah, those are tough plays, and Siri's as fast as anybody in baseball. Big play for Siri. Wander owes him dinner.
Another scoreless inning from Kelly. What is clicking for him right now?
I think every outing he started out hot, and then he had a couple outings that didn't come as easy. High pitch counts, a couple lefties got him. He's made some adjustments. He's really got fond of the cutter that he used and trusting his slider to the lefties. But he's pitching with a lot of confidence. He's been a big weapon for us, whether it's one inning or multi-inning.
Yeah, everything went right for the Rays yesterday, and now they got the Royals coming in for 4 games, and former bench coach Matt Cattaro, which we're going to talk a little bit about the Rays' impact on the rest of Major League Baseball. You look across the league, man,
they're everywhere.
It's crazy. From GMs to managers, their effect on Major League Baseball is, I dare say there's not a team in the league, maybe the Astros, who have spread their DNA across the
which makes it all that incredible.
Major League Baseball.
Which makes it all that incredible. They've been able to hold on to Eric Neander all this time.
Yeah.
It's crazy, and for whatever reason, I don't get the feeling he wants to. Now, money talks. That's obviously a big deal, but he feels like he's just a Ray guy. Like, I don't want to say a lifer. Nobody's a lifer in this business.
And hopefully it appears, at least in the last couple of years, that the Rays are making an effort to keep people and not just, letting them walk out the door and with a revolving door.
Like I've been saying,
if it's going to cost me money, bye-bye, see you later.
Like I've been saying, they have found the right core, I think, for obviously the now. They can look at the way they're winning with this core at the moment. And for the future, because of the age of these guys. I mean, if you go up and down the roster, the ages, everybody's like sitting in that like 22 to like 28 range, it feels like the real core of this team. And if you start locking these guys up to affordable deals, a la what they did to Brandon Lau, obviously it's going to be a lot more expensive, I think, than $24 million, the total guarantee they gave to Brandon Lau. But if they pass out a bunch of those contracts, I think it would be in their best interest. Or, again, because of the way arbitration works, you can hold on to these guys and then sell high when they're about to be free agents.
Yeah.
So I think they're just so set up for long-term success right now, and hopefully they get it done this year as well.
That's the thing. You want to have a sense of urgency about getting it done this year. And, it's come to the point with the Rays now with 4 straight postseason appearances and a 5th basically at about the 98th percentile. 5 straight years into the postseason in this division is, especially at this payroll, it's just ridiculous what they've been able to do on the field. It's crazy. And the money they've saved in their players should be able to put into a stadium and long-term success here. Different conversation for a different day. And certainly should be able to retain players now because you've spent so little over the years and you should have and do have.
And I get the sense that
reserve.
I get the sense, too, this current group, they want to play here.
Yeah, they do.
They seem like they really love each other. There's a great camaraderie in here, and they want to be Tampa Bay Rays.
And don't get it twisted. Players hate playing in the Trop. They hate it.
Correct.
And imagine if we had a world-class stadium that was full most of the time in the downtown area. I mean, my God. You know what they would be? The Tampa Bay Lightning is what they would be. They would win championships and have consistent sellouts. That's what they would be.
See that?
No question. To me, I'm going to say no question because it's hard to do that in baseball. I get it. But they would be, as good as they've been on the field, they have a chance to win multiple championships because it would give them a lot more revenue, like the Braves did, to be able to retain players. The Braves model is what you should be searching after. Move your stadium to where your fans are. Use that extra income that you're going to make from the premium seating to hold on to your players, add to it, and win a World Series. Yeah, that's how you do it. But right now, they haven't been able to get over the hump. And it's my opinion that a lot of it has to do with the way they spend their money and how they run the team in that regard. Because trust me, Eric Neander is not like, yeah, just give me a $70 million payroll. That's all I want. No, he would love to have 140 average $1 million payroll so he could hold on to these guys and build some chemistry with this team.
Hey, by the way, we had a comment here from Quentin Sommers I want to put up, which he mentions it's his birthday. Happy birthday, Quentin. Thank you for listening. He's up in
Happy birthday, Quentin.
Up in Pittsburgh, but listens every single day. Originally from Sarasota. Love to see that.
That is fantastic. Happy birthday, Quentin. Shout out to you, and thank you so much for listening. Please retweet the show. Share it to all your friends up there in Pittsburgh. We love having you. Thanks, buddy.
But he had a question here for us, and we kind of touched on it a little bit. Hey, guys, thoughts on Aranda coming up instead of Brujan? Brujan has Walls' the same skill set and lesser a bat. Aranda can bring the bat in those days you need it. Aranda really heating up again in AAA, continuing from last year, really. His bat, to me, is Major League ready. I don't think there's any doubt about that. I pulled up his numbers when you asked the question. 57 games this year, 10 home runs, 45 RBIs, and he's hitting 343.
Come on.
He had 318 last year, and now he's gotten it up to 343. The OPS is over 1,000.
And I've seen him when he came up here. I know the numbers weren't great.
They weren't great, but he showed. You could see there was.
The ball up.
Yeah, he barrels the ball up. He's to me, he's one of those. Like, I mean, I haven't seen it yet, but I was going to call him. He seems like one of those major league hitters, right?
Yeah.
And it just,
you can spot guys like that.
You could just spot guys.
Yeah.
It's what my point there is.
You know, get him to play first base. We pretty much make everybody play first base that can't play.
Yeah, it's second base. We talk so much about Taylor Walls, who, by the way, is really fighting it right now. And I felt, man, he hit one yesterday that was like probably a few inches left of the foul pole. It would have been a home run, and I thought he really needed that. And then he ended up striking out.
Yeah.
He's lacking some confidence at the plate, but he just helps you out. He eats everything up at second base.
Yep.
And I promise you, there's nothing more a manager hates than having a liability out on the field.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is. You want to have a vacuum, and right now, Walls and Franco, I can't name a better second base shortstop duo from the defensive standpoint.
No way.
I don't think the Rays want to mess with that right now. So if they bring Aranda up, the worst thing you can always have is he comes up and then he never plays.
Listen, it's an old adage in baseball, but this is one that certainly holds true. You want to be strong up the middle.
Right.
And those two guys in Syrian center field, you're strong up the middle. You're really, really strong up the middle.
Yeah.
And that's, they just eat stuff up. And the numbers, the analytics prove it. So, yeah, and those are, that's where the Rays really understand baseball. They will they know that those runs saved are just as good as runs produced. And those numbers matter to them. A guy like Taylor Walls, who's got and Franco's got 9 or 10 runs saved. That's 7, 8, 9, 10 home runs you can add. And if he was doing that, you'd be like, oh my God, he's the best player in baseball. Well, it run differential. That's what it means.
There's a reason why Wander Franco leads all of Major League Baseball in WAR.
Yeah.
There's a reason why, because his defense has just taken it to another level this year, to the point where I think he's likely going to win a Gold Glove there. And you add more to him being a 5-tool player, right, that the Rays expect him to be. But you go up and down the lineup, there's not a single liability defensively.
No.
Even at first base, we talked about Yandy not being a traditional first baseman and this and that. Can we just say Yandy does his job over there? I don't see too many plays where I go, oh, Yandy, what are you doing, right? Mm-hmm. He does his job. I think he's more than competent. I'd say he's probably an above-average fielder at first base.
Yeah.
And it's a credit to him
yeah.
for doing a good job there. So they just don't have any liabilities, and that's the thing. You put Aranda over there. I mean, I don't sit there and watch AAA baseball too often, but everything I hear, it's like you don't want to see him out on the field.
No.
Is everything you kind of hear, and that scares me a little bit.
Yeah. I mean,
but he's 20. I think he's almost 25 years old. It's like at some point you can't just keep him down in there forever.
No.
Hitting 350 in AAA pitching.
All right, we'll take a break. Remind you, go take our poll questions. Go to the JP Peterson Show. I've retweeted everything, but if you're not following us on Twitter at the actual show page, do that, the JP Peterson Show. Take those poll questions. We'll have some fun with that. When we come back, we'll talk a little football, get into some of our other polled questions, and what the hell's going on with Aaron Rodgers at the keynote speaker at the psychedelic convention. We got that and lots more fun when we come back. Stay with us. Guys, are you experiencing those feelings of getting older, lower sex drive, fatigue, hot flashes, moodiness, or you just don't feel like you had the vitality you once had? It's a chronic problem here in the United States. You're not just getting old, it's likely low testosterone. Studies over the last 20 years show a shocking decline in younger males aged 16 to 39. Older men have seen a sharp decline as well, so do something about it. Go see my friend Christopher Lugo at Bay Area Modern Medicine. Look, testosterone replacement is not a frivolous treatment. It takes a professional, targeted approach that focuses on total body wellness, vitality, and emotional stability, not a one-size-fits-all approach like many clinics use. They will monitor your blood work and adjust your treatment as needed for optimal results. Folks, I've been on testosterone therapy for over 6 years, and it is a life changer. You will feel and look better than you did 10 years ago. Give them a call at 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. That's 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group. Have you been injured in an accident, in an auto accident, truck accident, motorcycle accident, at work, or at a place of business? Well, call the Jeeves Law Group and get the personal attention that you deserve. I made the mistake many, many years ago with going with one of the bigger law firms, the national law firms. And let me tell you, getting a call back from those folks was next to impossible. Weeks and weeks would go by. Never get a call back. That doesn't happen with the Jeeves Law Group. Personal attention is what they're all about. When you call the Jeeves Law Group, you will be part of the family. They will represent you in a vigorous and aggressive way against the insurance companies. These larger companies will promise bigger settlements, but it's the Jeeves Law Group that will get you the best results. If you're tired of dealing with these bigger law firms, check out the Jeeves Law Group. Go to JeevesLawGroup.com, tell them JP sent you, get a free consultation. It's the Jeeves Law Group. Scott Jeeves has been representing clients in the Tampa Bay area for over 25 years. Give them a call. It's a free call, 727-894-2929, 727-894-2929, or go to JeevesLawGroup.com.
During COVID, over 1.7 million people were added to the Florida Medicaid rolls, but as of April 1st, 2023, most of these people may not be eligible for the Medicaid coverage and will lose their health plan. If you have been notified you are losing your coverage, don't freak out. It's very likely you can apply for a federal subsidy under the Affordable Care Act. Just call 877-652-0244. Our representatives will walk you through the whole process, get some basic information on your income, number of kids, and then they'll find a plan that best fits your needs. In fact, with the new laws, 90% of Americans qualify for reduced or free health care. You can select great plans like Florida Blue, that's my carrier, love them, paying $800 left after making the call. 877-652-0244. Our highly trained professionals know all the intricacies of the new laws. They will do all the work, you save tons of money. So if you're being dropped from Medicaid, fear not. Call 877-652-0244. Get real health insurance, free doctor visits, free blood work, no deductibles. 877-652-0244.
Hey, JP here for Extravaganza Productions Incorporated, EPI. You've probably seen their purple logo at so many events that you've gone to. They are based in Tampa, and for over 33 years, they've been creating and producing conferences, meetings, and special events, the biggest to the smallest. Solid reputation of delivering the best audio-visual, sound, lighting, entertainment, video production, and decor on time and on budget. I've worked with them with so many big events. The Warrior Games, which was an Olympic-style event all over Tampa Bay, from McDill to the Convention Center to USF. They did it flawlessly, made it look big and fantastic. I've worked with them on small events as well, large and small meetings and conferences, sporting events, fundraisers. If you got a fundraiser, you don't know the logistical way to pull it off, they'll take care of everything. Entertainment events, branding events, grand openings, so much more. The folks at Extravaganza Productions are the most professional and the best. I've worked with them many times. They are fantastic. You can contact them through extravaganzaproductions.com or call 813-621-4700. Extravaganza Productions, they are awesome.
Coming back at you. Now, more with JP on FanStream Sports.
It's only just begun. All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group, JeevesLawGroup.com. If you have any issues, legal issues at all, I've heard Scott Jeeves on our show many times, very approachable. They'd be happy to take your phone call and chat with you free about whatever's going on in your life that you may need legal representation for. Whatever it is, they will give you the best and most aggressive legal representation. So if you've been involved in an accident especially, or totaled your car, or involved in a class action lawsuit, or need some information on one or some advice, that's definitely the place to go. JeevesLawGroup.com. Go to their website. Tell them JP sent you, and just give them a call over there. All right, so here's a funny kind of story. And we had Jake Plummer on out at the Super Bowl, 2 Super Bowls ago. And Jake has a company of his own, the former quarterback, where they grow mushrooms and sell them in microdosing packages, which I guess is medicinal and is legal and all that stuff. And so this is something that Aaron Rodgers got into after he won the Super Bowl in 2011. It's like, what's next after that? I needed to expand my mind and expand other opportunities, which I know a lot of people like to, throw shade at Rodgers for a lot of his opinions. He's very different. Obviously, he was anti-vax, and some of you people think that's crazy, but I think, obviously, given the data that's out there right now, he was right on the money with that. And don't kid yourself. Most of the NFL players had fake cards. They didn't take that vaccine. Here's what he said about doing psychedelics. He said, I've been fortunate enough in the last few years to be able to sit in ceremony with my teammates. In ceremony. I'm telling you, it's radically life-changing, and it's wild to be in a locker room and look over and just know, like, I've been in the Maluka, an indigenous South American dwelling, with you, guy. It's pretty special. Changes the dynamic for sure. And in this process, like I said, there's been hundreds of NFL guys who have reached out. Now what, Rodgers asked himself after winning Super Bowl 45, whatever. Yeah. Rodgers spoke to media figure Aubrey Marcus during his appearance on Wednesday. The commentary checked out for two dudes heavily invested in healing gurus and buying crystals. Rodgers was invited as a featured speaker at this psychedelic event. Advocates for psychedelics championed the four-time NFL MVP's appearance at the conference, stating it would destigmatize using psilocybin and other psychedelic agents to improve mental health. Rodgers added, quote, when I first did Aya, which I guess is the ayahuasca, in 2020, I remember thinking afterwards, like, I'm going to have to talk about this at some point. Are people ready? How will it be received? Then I won MVP. Then I did it again. I said, okay, I can probably talk about it now. But the cool thing has been the response, not from the media that calls me a druggie or hippie or whatever. It was to see basketball players and baseball players and surfers and entertainers and my own teammates and colleagues across the league reach out and either share their story about their own medicine journey or ask to be part of an upcoming one is pretty special. Now, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people that rip him for this. I'm not going to be one of those people. I think it's very interesting. I am all down for it. I want to do it. I want to see what it does to me, how it expands my mind, and see where it goes. What do you think? Is this – I mean, I think that this is going to get I don't know what kind of reaction it's going to get. I think it's because this is going to be probably the most he's ever talked about this and been out front with this. And can you argue with the results?
I'm not going to rip him or anything, right? Okay. Because I'm an advocate for everybody being their own person and doing your thing, living your life, whatever. It's just, this is now my personal opinion coming into this, which I think I can have on the topic.
Of course. That's why I'm asking you.
I think he's weird. I think he's an oddball.
Okay.
It almost feels like he was in a midlife crisis the last 5 years here. Him growing the hair out and the weird thing that was going on behind over here. I don't know what that was. The beard just looking really grungy. I don't know. He just looked like he was going through like a typical midlife crisis. And on the football field, like at least this past year, it wasn't great and all that kind of stuff.
No, was it?
Listen, my issues with Aaron Rodgers are not lying in this typically. It's the way he conducted himself kind of towards his Green Bay tenure. That, to me, it got on my nerves a little bit.
Yeah.
Specifically last year when you didn't show up to camp with all your young receivers. Yeah. You didn't get that work in.
Yeah.
Like, again, my point with that is
doing ayahuasca.
It's because I feel like he's been in the same era of the Tom Bradys and the Drew Brees and the Peyton Mannings. Like, those to me are the big four of this century when it comes to quarterbacks. And I couldn't imagine the other three if they were faced with a reality where they were going to be with a bunch of young receivers, where they would go, yeah, it doesn't work for me, brother. I'm going to skip training camp and we'll figure it out on the fly. Can't imagine those three other guys doing that. You? No. No way. But he did it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And then remember week 1 when he can't hit Christian Watson and he can't hit Dubes and all those guys, and all of a sudden he's like raising his hands in the air, what's going on? Guys are not developing. He's vocal about it. Well, Rodgers, you could have fixed that a little bit by some practice. So
hard to argue that.
But now when he's in New York, obviously everything's changed. And, like, the day he got traded there and announced, he's right out there on the practice field, and he loves Garrett Wilson and all these other guys that they have over there in New York.
And he's at every voluntary OTA.
Exactly. So it's like he seems like right now
everything he should have done in Green Bay, he's doing in New York.
Yeah, he seems like he's the old Aaron Rodgers feels like he's back.
Yeah.
from that aspect. The old Aaron Rodgers, listen, the guy still won 2 back-to-back MVPs in 2020 and 2021. We're not too far removed from that. I still think he has a lot of good football left in him, maybe at an elite level. We'll see, obviously. But, yes, all this other stuff, though, that he talks about, I find it very just oddballish. That's just me. That's his life. The darkness retreat, exactly.
The darkness retreat.
I think the darkness retreat was my cutoff point. I was like, you have to go sit in a little hut, pitch black. You get meals delivered to you through like a little opening in this thing. You shit with your in the pitch black. Like, you don't know where it's going. Are you wiping? What are you using? Are you using leaves? Like, those are the things with Rodgers that I'm just like, why?
I'm so.
But you seem to like it.
I'm so fascinated by it because I understand, that we use about 10% of our brain, and I think there's so much more there. And I have no trouble saying this, and I know the boss is going to hear it. But yes, I've experimented with some things that are called drugs, but nothing more than marijuana, but different types. And to say it expands your mind is, obvious.
And listen,
it's obvious and it's dramatic at times.
My 76-year-old grandmother has medicinal.
There you go.
But there's not a day that I watch it and go, that's not right.
It is,
but it's where we are now.
But it's so funny because there's stigma attached to these things because of, back in the 40s and 50s, somebody decided that, alcohol is going to be the okay drug because we can regulate it and make lots of money on it, and we're going to demonize marijuana as a gateway drug and all these other drugs. And listen, there are issues with first of all, as the lovely Ashley said the other day to me, you put 50 guys in a room with a bunch of weed, as opposed to 50 guys in a room with all the alcohol. The alcohol room's coming out with some dead people. The weed room.
Oh yeah,
everybody's just going to be asleep.
I don't have any problem with it. I've always associated it with one of those like young people's things,
right? And psychedelics, quote mushrooms or psychedelics. It's like, oh my God, that's just for real druggies. And personally, that was my perception for a long time. Like, I would never do shrooms.
So
I don't want to do any psychedelics.
Does this make?
I want to be in control of myself. But the way that they're, way Jake Plummer we did like 25 minutes with Jake Plummer talking about this at the Super Bowl. We should replay that interview.
Well, I was going to say real quick, and I don't know the whole story. Maybe you would know more because you were around for that time. Is Aaron Rodgers almost like the Ricky Williams of today? Is that fair? Like, was Ricky on anything hard? I don't believe he was.
He was just, he just said he said he smoked a lot.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, if Ricky Williams played in the modern era right now, would things be a lot different? The reaction to Ricky and all those things.
Yeah, I think it would be a lot different.
Because that derailed his career pretty quickly.
Yeah, it's now legal, obviously, in a lot of different places. And then you talk about, and now we start to reveal what's going on with Big Pharma. And you're like, oh my God! And then the opiates and how they've hooked people on opiates, knowing damn well that they were an addicting drug and a fast addicting drug. And it's like, oh, it's okay if it's a pharmaceutical company doing it, but if it's some illicit guy in the alleyway selling mushrooms, that's a bad thing. Obviously, that's not regulated. But with these new psychedelics, it is now regulated. It's microdosed. There's a lot of research that's gone into it, and it's much safer than it was, and you can control it in smaller doses. Yeah, I'm very interested in it, and I would, some of the ayahuasca and some of these other really big time psychedelics.
If I have to leave the country to go get it. And be in my little Cancun or whatever.
I used to think that way too, but now look at what's going on in our health system. Are you kidding me? The guys that run our health system and what they've been doing.
It's all bad. It's all bad.
Yeah, definitely got to go to another country to get real. Look what's going on with stem cells. Stem cells are we have to go out. We talk to Chris Lugo about it all the time. You got to go out of the country now to get stem cell stuff. And the reason it's not because it works, and it's going to put big pharma and orthopedics and a lot of other people out of business because stem cells work. So what does our FDA do? Ban it right away because we got to protect all of our sacred cows. So whatever's going on in our health system is an absolute disaster. Just murdering people. And this is Big Pharma. This is what they've been doing for a long time. So the stigma that, Big Pharma's okay and they've got your back and all this stuff is tested but if you go take a psychedelic, you're weird. You're weird. That's dangerous. You don't know. I think it's great that someone like Aaron Rodgers and other people that are very successful in their fields are now talking about this and doing this, and I think it's interesting. I really do. Maybe I'm crazy. What are the comments?
I mean, God bless. He continues to give us content.
Yeah,
that's just a good thing.
More than anything, we love that, right? Thank you, Aaron
Thomas
Rodgers.
Casper said, "Have a pot brownie first before a microdose. It's not for everyone, and Rodgers is a pending train wreck."
He's a pending train wreck. You think? Like I did not like Aaron Rodgers 4 or 5 years ago. I thought, I looked at him as his leadership style, and I thought it was very. I didn't think he was a very good leader. I didn't think guys really connected with him, and I think that's changing now. Certainly in New York, his Jets teammates, I think his Packers teammates as well loved him. I just don't know. He's certainly not Brady-esque.
He's not everybody. He's just not everybody's cup of tea.
No.
And I always questioned, I know he plays in Green Bay and it's hard to get free agents, but I always wondered why they could never attract anybody over there while he was there.
Well, a lot of it had to do with Green Bay.
I understand, but don't you really want to play? I mean, it's Aaron Rodgers. I feel like if Brady was playing in Green Bay, it would have been completely different.
What do you mean?
If Tom Brady played in Green Bay, I think the long list of players that lined up to play for him his entire career would have continued.
Been the same?
I think it would have been near the same. Truly believe.
Yeah.
Because we're rocking with Tom.
Yeah, Brady's a different animal.
But he's in his different tier.
Yeah. So, I think probably, but, every receiver wants to play with Aaron Rodgers. I mean, receivers just want to get the ball. Right?
Well, hold up. They talk about it, but I don't see any action. Why was Odell Beckham Jr. not a Jet? Why was he never? There were so many different things.
He'd already been to New York, and I think the Jets figured out that was. I mean, come on, the Ravens ridiculously overpaid for him.
Yeah, that's true.
Come on,
I would have not given that money.
No, it's ridiculous what they gave him, and it's gonna be. I don't think that's gonna be worth the money. But we'll see.
Could have taken less to play with Rodgers.
True, but
look who he's surrounded himself with. This is the one thing I don't understand with him actually with the Jets. The one thing, it's like he's surrounding himself again with his Packer familiarity, and I understand that's not a new thing in the NFL. But the Randall Cobb signing just did it for me. It's like this guy's going to travel with him forever, and you're going to keep giving him meaningful snaps. The guy's cooked. He's cooked. There's nothing else you could do with Randall Cobb.
If you're taking away targets to Garrett Wilson because of Randall Cobb.
Oh, my goodness, man.
You can't throw it to him every play. Well, maybe you can. But, yeah. So, I don't know. I think it's fascinating. I'm all about it, and I think I'll go to the psychedelic trip.
You're going to make the psychedelic conference in Denver?
I want to get Aaron on the show.
Can they go somewhere else, by the way? Why do they got to go to Denver? It's the most cliche thing. Exactly. It's the most cliche thing. Can we just go somewhere else? Like go to Sioux Falls or something like that. I don't know.
Maybe not as
or
welcoming
Bangkok.
as Sioux Falls. They're probably not as welcoming there.
Oh, you don't think? It's out in the middle of the plains?
Portland or Seattle would be probably anywhere in Northern California. I'm sure would be home.
Would we be accepting?
Would I?
Would the state be accepting?
Florida? Yeah, of course. Why would they? Why would they not? Oh, God, don't tell me you're on the Tampa Bay Times misinformation streak on Ron DeSantis.
I didn't say anything.
Mike Freeman's column today. Oh, my God.
I didn't say anything.
Oh, my God. If you read that,
I'm just asking a question.
Everything has to be about race.
No, I don't read. I don't read those news.
Good God, man! You can't even say baseball's a thinking man's sport without this guy going off on what
and
a
here
racist trope
I
is.
thought we could make it through the show without you bringing up this article.
It's disgusting. If you want to go read it, go read the most ridiculous thing ever. It's crazy. No, just stop it with that. Stop it with that. No, this is a very welcoming state. Oh, you went to the. You can't do that to me. I'm the host of the show.
We need a break. We need a break.
All right,
the break don't care where you're at in your spiel.
We're brought to you by the open-minded people at Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Chris Lugo will join us tomorrow, and we'll talk about psychedelics and how they could help people instead of taking loads and loads of OxyContin. That's real good for you. That's safe for you. All right, we'll talk about some other stuff when we come back. What are we getting into? Oh, we're getting into the NBA draft. The WNBA, is that what we're calling it now? The game will change forever with tonight's draft. We'll talk about that when we come back. All right, this is for all you guys who don't want to go to the gym and do 5,000 crunches. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, you can get on the new True Body machine where you can reduce fat and tone up your muscle. It's like doing 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Define your body as you see fit. True Body offers personalized muscle stimulation that delivers the equivalent of those 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Just get in touch with them at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Chris Lugo and the team over there will set you up on True Body and get amazing results. Non-invasive with comfortable and little to no pain and zero downtime. You can isolate and target those areas that you want to improve and treat multiple areas simultaneously. It's an amazing machine, so check it out at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Well, Fitz the mortgage guy did it again. A listener heard his ad, was going to another big bank, but called Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services of Tampa, and Fitz saved him $618 on his monthly payment. Are you kidding me? Folks, that's big money. Rates are going up, they're going down, they're going all over the place. Scott will shop your loan and save you lender fees and get the best rates. Email him, scott@amstampa.com, or call 813-294-7595. That's Fitz the mortgage guy. Lots of stuff going on right now, and these rates are going all over the place. You need somebody knowledgeable in the market that will work hard for you and get you the best deal. That's my man, Scott. He's done 3 loans for me, done thousands of loans for local folks here, works with a lot of the coaches and players in the area. He's the guy. 813-294-7595, or go to scott@amstampa.com. Insurance coverage can be confusing and expensive. I mean, where do you start? Which companies can you count on to pay out fast and fair? Well, call the great folks at Italiano Insurance. It's a family-owned business. Jeff and Nat Italiano are carrying on the 60-year-plus tradition of giving amazing customer service and giving back to the community through their annual backpack drive for needy students and their support of the local pediatric cancer patients. But it's the customer service that sets them apart. They can shop all your insurance needs and save you big-time money. Don't hop on the internet and waste time looking at some bogus reviews. Talk to knowledgeable agents and not some voice-generated robot. These are confusing times for homeowners, and Italiano's team of experienced professionals can provide the right coverage for every situation: home, auto, business, life. It's Italiano for all the pieces of your life. Call 813-877-7799 or go to italianoinsurance.com.
During COVID, over 1.7 million people were added to the Florida Medicaid rolls, but as of April 1st, 2023, most of these people may not be eligible for the Medicaid coverage and will lose their health plan. If you have been notified you are losing your coverage, don't freak out. It's very likely you can apply for a federal subsidy under the Affordable Care Act. Just call 877-652-0244. Our representatives will walk you through the whole process, get some basic information on your income, number of kids, and then they'll find a plan that best fits your needs. In fact, with the new laws, 90% of Americans qualify for reduced or free health care. You can select great plans like Florida Blue, that's my carrier, love them, paying $800 left after making the call. 877-652-0244. Our highly trained professionals know all the intricacies of the new laws. They will do all the work. You save tons of money. So if you're being dropped from Medicaid, fear not. Call 877-652-0244. Get real health insurance, free doctor visits, free blood work, no deductibles. 877-652-0244.
Hey, JP here for Extravaganza Productions Incorporated, EPI. You've probably seen their purple logo at so many events that you've gone to. They are based in Tampa. And for over 33 years, they've been creating and producing conferences, meetings, and special events, the biggest to the smallest. Solid reputation of delivering the best audio-visual, sound, lighting, entertainment, video production, and decor on time and on budget. I've worked with them with so many big events. The Warrior Games, which was an Olympic-style event all over Tampa Bay, from McDill to the Convention Center to USF. They did it flawlessly, made it look big and fantastic. I've worked with them on small events as well, large and small meetings and conferences, sporting events, fundraisers. If you got a fundraiser, you don't know the logistical way to pull it off, they'll take care of everything. Entertainment events, branding events, grand openings, so much more. The folks at Extravaganza Productions are the most professional and the best. I've worked with them many times. They are fantastic. You can contact them through extravaganzaproductions.com or call 813-621-4700. Extravaganza Productions, they are awesome.
Let's go. Right now. Back to the show with JP on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the second hour of the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the great folks at the Gold and Diamond Source. If you're looking to get engaged, you know there's no better place than the Gold and Diamond Source. My man Nick went over there, had a great experience. They will take you under your wing like your family. Just give them a budget. They're not going to try to push you into something that you cannot afford, but they will find you the best ring, the biggest ring, if that's what you're looking for the best value. And remember, you can always bring it back and get full value for it and upgrade to a bigger ring. So if you're just starting out, it's a great choice. If you're looking for a big expensive ring, of course, they've got the best selection. You can design something there. Everything you need is at the Gold and Diamond Source. And if you have any old jewelry laying around that you want to sell for gold or whatever, they can do that to you. They'll give you the best price. So head on over there, 3800 Overton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. All right, we're going to see a lot of bling tonight as the NBA draft happens. Very interesting, I think. You mentioned this, Orlando. The Orlando Magic, who are kind of on the come a little bit. Banchero winning the Rookie of the Year award, so they finally got a draft pick correct last year.
Whoa, hold up. Franz Wagner, throw him in there. Come on now.
Okay, all right, we'll throw him in there. Interesting prospects in this one at 6 and 11. Where could they be going?
Well, I wish they. Well, first off, I wish they would trade one of them because the Magic are the youngest team in the league.
Right.
They got enough young guys. I'd like to see them trade one of those picks for some veterans, please, so they can take that. Because no team that young does anything in the league.
True.
They just don't. They can be on the come all they want.
Right.
You'll be waiting a while. So I'd like to see them trade one.
You want Chris Paul?
No. No.
Experienced point guard to teach these young kids how to play.
I don't need a point guard. I got a log jam. Who do you? Markelle Fultz, Cole Anthony, Jalen Suggs. I got a hodgepodge of point guards already in Orlando. I don't need the 37-year-old.
What do you need? You need a big man. You need a wing. What do you need? Where could this experienced player come from?
I just mentioned the guards to you there.
Yeah.
You got Banchero, Franz, Wendell Carter. We traded Mo Bamba finally. I'm not a big bowl guy. I think we could use a big guy.
What about Bam? I heard, the Heat may be looking to.
The Heat and the Magic are not making a deal.
You sure?
I'm pretty sure that ain't going to happen.
I don't think that. I think regionalism matters here.
And I don't think that's what the Heat would want is these more young guys.
Where's Orlando going at 6?
I'm praying they go for this Taylor Hendricks, but I'm a little biased here because he went to UCF.
Right.
And he was one of these freshman phenoms that was really, really good. He got robbed of the AAC Player of the Year, by the way. He came in second in the voting. But he's a projected top 10 pick. 6 is probably maybe a tiny little reach with some of the other guys around. But, hey.
But 11 is.
11 would. If he fell to 11, that'd be perfect, obviously. But, again, I'd trade 11 and I keep 6. And I like Hendricks. He's one of those wing kind of type players. And I like the connection there. Let's get a UCF player in Orlando. It's perfect.
Okay, yeah,
that's me.
It would be great. It would be great for business, that's sure. But is he the right player? No draft,
I don't know if he's the right player. I just like the connection.
You like the connection. You want? Well, jump on here. Intern Nick, Mr. UCF, another UCFer. Where did all you Knights come from? For God's sakes.
We're everywhere.
You surrounded yourself with us.
Yeah, you surrounded yourself with us.
Thinking?
Look, I don't care, man. It's a fan service pick, but who cares? I want to see it. I want to see that man in Orlando. Like, I'm doing a watch party with the UCF website I write for. I swear, if he gets drafted, I'm gonna scare everyone else on the stream. I got I'm just gonna have people throw like confetti on me or something. I don't know.
Well, listen.
Something crazy.
If is Orlando going to go bonkers? The entire city going to go bonkers if this happens? I mean, is there pressure by the Magic to draft him?
No,
there's not. Look, when it comes to pressure for the Magic, the only pressure that I think there is just get someone who can help them win. Like in my mind, they're close to finally breaking through. They just need that like one player who can finally take them over the hump. So right now, I don't think there's pressure, but the moment that the season starts, that's when I think pressure is going to hit for whoever they draft.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Now, Wembanyama, you don't like him. Did you see him throw out the first pitch the other day?
I did.
Do you see the baseball in his hand?
I did. I went goo goo gaga for it.
That's crazy.
Couldn't help. I just couldn't help but go goo goo gaga.
That's nuts.
See that? I didn't care actually.
Right.
No, it's not that I don't like Victor Wembanyama. I just hate this culture that we've allowed and these narratives that we've allowed to escape through with Victor Wembanyama, calling him generational. And there's never been this much hype around. Please,
well, that's
please.
That's crazy.
No,
let's go back to Zion.
Let's forget it. Exactly. Like everybody's like, oh, he's the most hyped up prospect since LeBron.
Zion was
wasn't
win
even
a
as
championship his first year. He was the generational player.
But it's my opinion. No, as regardless of what you thought about Zion, Zion to me had more hype going in than Victor Wembanyama. That's my opinion on that. No, a lot of that is because he's a American player. We saw him at Duke.
Right.
I think maybe that's
Big
part
brand,
of it.
yeah.
He's over in France.
Freakish athlete.
Right, he's over in France. Like if Luka had played in America and college and all that, he probably would have gone first overall in 2018. Let's be honest on that one.
Yeah.
But just to call him the most generational prospect we've ever seen, and he's such a sure thing, and there's no holes and this and that, like, I'm just not buying it. I'm not buying it.
Well, first and foremost, he's got to get stronger.
And this is my problem.
He says, I don't need to.
Exactly. Yesterday, he goes on one of those big shows. It might have been Good Morning America. I can't remember. And he was asked about that. And he's like, why do I need to get bulkier? Everybody else needs to get skinnier or whatever. It's like, no, you're going to get eaten up more than you think.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? I had a lot of respect the fact that he's played in Europe with grown men and all that kind of stuff. And they come in, those guys typically come in and they adapt better to the league. I get that. Is he going to be an all-star? Yeah, I think he's going to be an all-star.
Sure.
But I'm just not a fan in general of labeling someone transcendent when they are 19 years old and they're 7'2", 215 pounds or whatever it is. Like, you've got to fill out a little bit. And I'm one of those guys typically like –
7'5", by the way.
And I think that's
7'5".
And I think
he's got an 8-foot wingspan.
And I think that's almost too big.
What?
I do. I love size. Everybody falls in love with size, but sometimes I feel like when you get over the 7-foot hump, and the more you go up, I think you're playing with fire.
Not when you're that agile. What do you mean in terms of injury?
His legs are so skinny.
Yeah.
Like the 7-footers that I think of in the NBA right now, Jokic. That guy's huge. He bullies everybody, right? Even Embiid, he's filled out. Dirk, he was filled out.
Yeah.
Hakeem was like 260 pounds.
Oh, those were different
Shaq,
animals.
David Robinson. But these are the guys you keep comparing him to. He's not those guys, and he doesn't.
He's way more skilled.
And he doesn't
than those guys.
But he doesn't distribute or anything like that. Like his career high in assists for a season was 2.5, which was his bad. He doesn't distribute, so he's not like a Jokic type guy. He's not going to be able to get these shots off like he in the NBA, in my opinion, like he got off in your. I'm just not buying the whole.
At 7'5", nobody blocking his shot. Who's blocking his shot at 7'5" when he holds it up over his head?
I'm not buying transcendent. You give me he's an all-star, that's fine. But transcendent, let's pump the brakes here. When I looked at LeBron, even though I was 4 years old, but I go back and look at it, yeah, I could tell you that guy looks generational. That jumped off the page to me. He ain't that. So let's pump the brakes a little bit. It wouldn't surprise me. Here's your hot take of the day. It wouldn't surprise me if the guy who's going number 2 tonight, Brandon Miller, ends up being a better player.
What about Scoot?
I need to see more. Admittedly, Scoot played in the Ignite League, so I don't have as much to go off of with him. But it seems like he's probably going to be the 3rd overall pick. But I watched a lot of Alabama basketball this year. They were the best team during the regular season, at least. And I came away very impressed with Brandon Miller, and also the way that he, handled the whole situation in Alabama, all that kind of stuff that went on. I think he's your typical wing-type player that you plug in. He's got enough size. He can shoot. He can take it to the rim. To me, that's where the best players still in the league are.
Yeah. Those are the guys that are driving the league. There's no question about
My
that.
opinion.
Yeah, no, I like what you're saying. And the fact that he's going to San Antonio, I think Popovich has kind of lost his magic, to be quite honest. I don't know if that's the place where he needs to go.
Well, Popovich has the advantage that he's been there for David Robinson, he's been there for Tim Duncan, and now Wembanyama. So it's almost like I think it's a good fit actually for the fact that he's kind of coached a similar player like that that's coming with all that draft type. So I kind of like that. Popovich doesn't have anything to work with right now, quite frankly.
Yeah, there's not a lot there.
There's not a lot there. It's very barren.
I'm pretty sure.
There's a reason for that.
I'm pretty sure I've seen that they're actually bringing in Tim Duncan to try to train. I can't pronounce his last name. I'll just call him Victor.
Wembanyama.
Yeah, they're so like I mean they are taking him seriously. So like I mean you can say he lost his touch, but I still think they got a shot at developing him.
Well, they need to make Tim Duncan the head coach, and get rid of old head Popovich. His act is worn thin.
Pop can do whatever he wants.
Yeah, no, he
Yeah,
can.
he's gotten.
If you want to be successful, make Tim Duncan.
He's NBA Bill Belichick at this point. He's been around forever and he's won so much.
I got to cover Tim Duncan for 2 years at Wake Forest, and I can tell you, and probably interviewed him 45 times during that era. And I can tell you, that's one of the smartest human beings I've ever met in my life. Has an incredible emotional IQ, understands the game, understands human beings, understands motivation. He's just really one of the smartest people I've ever met in my life. And I would putting him in charge of mentoring him is a stroke of genius for the San Antonio Spurs. I would keep Tim Duncan close and keep Popovich as far away as possible.
I will say that if he can help develop him into a really good player, then that should go on his resume and probably is a sign that he should be a head coach.
Yeah.
So this is a test for him in my opinion.
I don't know if Duncan wants to be a head coach.
So
he
was an assistant coach for a while, and I think he actually served as an acting head coach for a game because Pop was away with something.
But you want the generational prospect to stay as far away from the greatest head coach maybe in NBA history.
The greatest head coach. Oh my God.
Phil Jackson.
Yeah, we're talking about Phil Jackson.
Okay, well it's one of those two. Throw Pat Riley in there, I guess. It's one of those three.
Yeah, how many championships does Pop win if he doesn't get handed Tim Duncan?
Yeah, David Robinson for a while, didn't he? And they didn't win anything until
so they got lucky. And Robinson got hurt, and then he got the Twin Towers.
Well, how many championships does Phil Jackson win when he walks into Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen, and then he gets Shaq and Kobe? Come on, come on, don't give me that.
Well, interesting
give me that argument.
There. None of those players won a championship without Phil, except for Shaq that one year, and even then he wasn't the best player. Dwayne Wade was.
But coaching in the NBA. When the talent gets barren, you just
You're
suck.
not that good.
The Lakers from like 2005 to like 2007 were awful, and they just didn't have much talent around Kobe. That's how it works.
Yeah,
Mr. Phil Jackson.
Yeah, that's fair.
Just not a fan of Pop.
You brought him up earlier. This might be fun. Brandon Miller. Did you guys see the interview he gave when someone asked him who do you think is the greatest basketball player of all time? And he said Paul George. Over LeBron. And,
I did see that, and I still don't know right now if he's trolling.
Was he on the ayahuasca?
Well, here's what I'm wondering. And I've seen people joke about this. They're like, "Do you think he's just saying that so that Michael Jordan doesn't draft him to the Hornets?"
Oof. He's getting drafted to the Hornets.
I know he is.
Over
but
with, so
yeah, that's the joke. Like, is he trolling or is he being smart and trying to avoid something?
He said it with a straight face. Paul George is my GOAT.
Jesus.
So the second,
you can say favorite player.
The more I think about it, he might be off my draft board. Real quick before we move on from the NBA.
Real quick.
For Paul George.
You want my sleeper for tonight?
Yeah.
And he's actually mocked to the Magic with the 11th pick.
Oh, is this the shooter?
My boy Grady Dick.
Yeah.
Name of the entire year, Mr. Grady Dick from Kansas. The one thing the Magic struggle with is three-point shooting. That's what he does. Look at that man.
Yeah.
Grady Dick.
What a dick.
If they keep the 11th pick, Grady Dick.
Grady Dick.
There you go. That's my sleeper for this draft right there.
I can't wait for them to draft Dick. And then for someone to say, I love Grady.
You know they sell Dick at Worldwide Market? No, I'm dead serious.
They sell what?
You heard me. You know that store Worldwide Market over there in Wesley Chapel?
Not a big fan. No, I have no idea what that
is. I went there on this past weekend.
Right.
With Casey.
Right.
We go there to get some they have foods from all these different international places. Mm-hmm. And I'm kidding you, I'm just walking and I'm scanning the aisle and it said here, it literally said it's called Dick.
So you bought some Dick?
I did not buy anything, but I took a nice picture of it to send to some people.
Send it to me so I can post it. What is it?
Hold on, I'm trying to.
Is it like? I'm intrigued. What is it?
I'm trying to look it up. Hold up.
Okay.
Hold up. Casey actually took the picture. She has it. Here it is, right here.
What?
Auntie Spotted Dick.
Steamed puds. Come on. That's not true. It's called Auntie's Steamed Puds.
Look, if anybody could see my phone right now, there it is. I'm not lying. This is what I saw in the store at the World Market in Wesley Chapel.
Let me see that again. What does it say underneath? Steamed puds?
Yeah.
Anti-spotted
Sultana and raisin.
Sultana and raisin. Do you get that at Dix.com?
Oh, how about the description?
What's the girl that does?
How about the description? Do you want to hear the description of this product?
You know I do.
A quick and delicious anytime treat. It's a restaurant-worthy indulgence you can enjoy in a whim and in your pajamas.
So have some dick in your pajamas on a whim. Is that what you're saying?
Apparently.
Okay.
Oh my gosh! If anybody's been to England, it says this was in the.
Of course it's from
This was
England.
in the UK section.
Of course it's in the UK food section. The worst food place in the world. I mean, are you kidding me? Get some spotted dick and what's the
Aunties.
Yeah, please send me that, by the way. I have to post that. All right. Before we get to J.C. Allen, who probably wants no part of this show at this point. So Rob Gronkowski, and we all know, was an epic partier, right? So one of his former teammates, Jake Baguette, who I've never heard of, former Pats teammate.
This is the dude that was like running for like senator or something like that.
Okay. Gronk. All right. So let me see where I should start this. Appearing on the Prime Time with Alex Stein, Beckett delved into Gronk's history of partying and just how erratic the tight end got in the nights before a big contest. Quote, "We had all these key fobs that gave us 24/7 access to Patriots facility there in Foxborough. And during the offseason, Gronk would go out all night with his boys in Boston, stay up till 3 or 4 in the morning, whatever it was, and have his crew drop him off at the Patriots facility. He would like stagger into the Patriots locker room, key fob in, and go pass out on the training tables in the Patriots training room. From emergency IVs to passing out on any flat surface after a night out, the legend of Gronk makes a case for the Frat Boys Hall of Fame." Baquette added, "So then like an hour or two later, when the trainers would come in to start their workday, they'd come in there and see Gronk just sprawled out on the training table, fast asleep. They would go over there. They would wake him up. They wouldn't wake him up. They would roll up one of his sleeves and, stick an IV in his arm. After a couple hours, he would just wake up like Frankenstein revived and go out there and just kick ass." Now, he said off season, but he also said before big games. So is this Gronk, the Gronk ritual? Like they just stuck an IV in his arm and he went out there and kicked ass?
Whatever gets the job done.
That's epic. That is epic, Gronk. That's a story that should go down in the legendary category. That's fantastic. Good for you,
Oh,
Gronk.
my goodness. Ayahuasca, psychedelics, Grady Dick.
Yes.
Spotted Dick.
Wow.
And now IVs into Gronk's arm before games.
Yeah. All right.
We have officially gone way off the rails.
Let's go totally off the rails. It's a story you brought up, and Ashley also sent to me.
Oh, no. What did I bring up?
Well, we haven't talked about the lost sub, by the way, and our hearts, our prayers going out to the family of the people that were in the sub. Their oxygen has run out. They still have not been found. It's very unlikely that they're going to be found. And that's just, a terribly tragic situation. But, of course, social media can't help but, delve into some of the other sub-stories that are coming out after it, pun intended. And one of the stepson of one of the billionaires in the after 30 minutes after wishing, asking for prayers for his stepdad, tweeted out something about he wanted an OnlyFans girl to sit on his lap or something, get a lap dance from his OnlyFans girl. Do you have some more specifics on this?
I'm trying. I don't want to have more specifics on this. Truthfully, I don't. I'm trying to find the headline.
Yeah, the headline was fantastic. That was really, really good. So this guy, and really hoping that everything goes well. But I mean, come on, dude. Where are we at with this? It was from the Daily Mail.
It was from the Daily Mail. Give me a sec. I'm trying to find the headline, but yeah, he was like.
And he attended the Blink 182 concert.
He's been to a Blink 182 concert. I guess he's been in some arguments with Cardi B.
Cardi B, yes.
I want to say on Twitter.
Yeah.
And then
doing a shout out to his OnlyFans girl.
Doing a shout out to some random ass OnlyFans girl. Yeah. Hold on. I'm close. I'm finding it here in my archive. I'm almost to it.
He's touching all the bases on his social media, so you gotta love that. So good for him. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, J.C. Allen's going to join us. Maybe, I don't know. He may decline the invitation at this point.
Wait, hold on.
So
hold on before we go to break. Hold on.
All right, you got to get this.
I spent all this time trying to find the headline. I have it finally. Right. Your stepdad is lost at sea. California man whose billionaire stepfather is on missing sub asks OnlyFans model to sit on him 30 minutes after pleading for prayers as he triggers war of words with Cardi B over Blink 182 concert.
Yeah.
Emma James for the Daily Mail. That is the headline of the year right there.
Well, all I can say is everybody deals with grief differently.
That's a hell of a way to deal.
Some people go into, deep, dark depression, and other people lean on their OnlyFans girls. So, to each his own. All right, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk some Bucs with J.C. Allen of the Pewter Report and ask him, could the Bucs have the best secondary in the NFL? That's something that the national people are kicking around, and I think there might be a little something to say about that. So we'll do that when we come back. We're brought to you by American Mortgage Services and Extravaganza Productions. If you're having a big event, a small event, a charity event, any type of event, and you want big time audio and visual and all kinds of creative things going on, Extravaganza Productions, the people for you. Paul Thomas and his team are excellent. Worked with them many, many times. Go to extravaganzaproductions.com for more information and get a free creative session with them. Back in 3. Insurance coverage can be confusing and expensive. I mean, where do you start? Which companies can you count on to pay out fast and fair? Well, call the great folks at Italiano Insurance. It's a family-owned business. Jeff and Nat Italiano are carrying on the 60-year-plus tradition of giving amazing customer service and giving back to the community through their annual backpack drive for needy students and their support of the local pediatric cancer patients. But it's the customer service that sets them apart. They can shop all your insurance needs and save you big-time money. Don't hop on the internet and waste time looking at some bogus reviews. Talk to knowledgeable agents. That's big money. Rates are going up, they're going down, they're going all over the place. Scott will shop your loan and save you lender fees and get the best rates. Email him, scott@amstampa.com, or call 813-294-7595. That's Fitz, the mortgage guy. Lots of stuff going on right now, and these rates are going all over the place. You need somebody knowledgeable in the market that will work hard for you and get you the best deal. That's my man, Scott. He's done 3 loans for me, done thousands of loans for local folks here, works with a lot of the coaches and players in the area. He's the guy. 813-294-7595, or go to scott@amstampa.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's rock.
This is FanStream Sports with JP.
All right, welcome back to this wacky-ass show today. We need some normalcy added to this show. Thank God J.C. Allen from the Pewter Report is joining us now. What's up, J.C.? How are you?
What's going on, guys? How are you doing?
Oh, it's been quite a day. It's been quite
Oh, yeah. I woke up to the news of the Celtics trade. Last night I went to bed, and it looked like it wasn't going to get done. And this morning, Marcus Smart's traded, and Kristaps Porzingis is on the Celtics. One of those mixed emotion mornings.
They had to do something, right, to shake it up?
They had to do something, but
that's not what you were looking for?
Marcus Smart's the heart and soul of that team. He's one of the only guys that actually plays defense. Right. As inconsistent as he can be, it was still a little bit of a shock to wake up and see Marcus Smart was traded. But you know what? It made the front court better. I trust in Brad Stevens. They just got to pull out all the stops to finally get over that hump, and we'll see if they can do it next year.
I like a lot about Marcus Smart, but he seemed to take a lot of big shots that maybe he shouldn't be taking.
That's been his MO since he came into the league.
Got a lot of Russell Westbrook in him,
Yeah.
You got some other guys on your squad that probably would be better off taking that shot, but you just go right ahead and throw that thing up. But
Absolutely.
whatever. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about your Tampa Bay Buccaneers. J.C. Allen of the Pewter Report attended almost every OTA and voluntary and mandatory workout. So you got a pretty good sense of what some of these younger players are about. I mean, obviously there's no pads out there. But what did you glean from some of the new players? Now, we don't need to talk about the veterans. We know what those are. But some of the new players that kind of caught your eye.
Yeah, just the work ethic and the intelligence of them. That was one of the things that was touted about this draft class was the character, the work ethic, the ability to grasp information, process that information, and then show it on the field. And I think you saw that. Not too many mistakes, some really big plays. I think when you look at some of where there were some potential deficiencies on some of these players, whether it be playing time, whether it be size, whether it be technique. I think what you try to get out of minicamp, whether it's rookie, mandatory, OTAs, just having guys in the building, is their ability to take whatever is given to them and then show it on the field. And I think the coaches were very pleased with that. A guy like Servassier Dennis, who's one of his biggest knocks on him, was that, he was more of a blitzer than a guy who could really play in coverage.
Right.
That's not what Pitt asked him to do, has really shown up, especially with Levante not being there for most of OTAs, and obviously Devin White not there participating in mini camps or OTAs or any voluntary work. Guy had an interception. He's able to drop back in coverage, tip some balls, and looked really good in that aspect. Kalijah Kancey, even though it's not obviously in pads, the ability to take on double teams and break off double teams, get into the quarterback. You can see the speed is there. Trey Palmer showed off that speed that he can get deep, get behind defenders with ease. That was there. Yaya Diaby, another guy, big guy who only had a year of production. He looked really good. Again, we'll see more in pads, obviously, but I think the biggest takeaway for those young guys, those rookies, even the undrafted guys that they brought in, is that their ability to take in that information and then show it on the field, especially like an undrafted guy like Christian Isian, who's vying for that nickel spot, being cross-trained at safety. Their 6th-round pick, Josh Hayes, who's came in, played his last season as a safety, is being trained for that nickel spot and at corner. To be able to grasp two positions and go out there and execute it on the field. Even again, it is just, helmets and T-shirts and shorts. shows a lot about what the Bucs are looking for in this draft class and undrafted class, and it's shown up on the field so far.
And I know you can't really go into specifics on this type of things, but the offense, some of the modern concepts that we've kind of been expecting with Dave Canales' offense, were you able to see kind of those things in the 3 days of mandatory minicamp there and what it kind of looked like?
Oh yeah, lots of pre-snap motion, movement. I think the biggest thing about what this offense does is it puts everybody in a good position. It's a very offensive player-friendly offense. The offensive linemen are going to be doing a lot more blocking laterally than trying to push guys off the line of scrimmage. They're going to be moving guys down the line of scrimmage. When you look at what they're going to be doing with some of their more athletic guys, allowing them to get in space, pull, reach to that second level with ease. As far as the running backs, we've obviously seen the success that Seattle has had with their running backs, guys like Thomas Rawls, Chris Carson, undrafted free agents, Kenneth Walker coming in as a rookie last year, puts them in a good position. Even if they're not going to lead the league in rushing, you look at what Seattle has been able to do under these offensive systems and consistently have a high yards per carry number, above 4 yards per carry every year. It puts them in a good position. You look at the wide receiver position, it's going to allow them to really utilize different strengths of the wide receivers that we might not have seen in recent years. I mean, Mike Evans talking about him being able to play in the slot more. We heard Rachaad White talk about Mike coming to the sideline and say, man, I haven't been this open in a while. Seattle had 2,000-yard receivers. I think they're going to look at the same thing this year with both of those guys being able to get open. Tight end, they utilize a lot of 12-man, which is going to allow them to not only have the extra blockers on the field to be able to break away and make some plays. And obviously the quarterback position, the most important position, is really simplified for them. So I really think that when you look at what Canales is bringing into this offense, he's a high-energy guy. He's all around the field with different position groups, getting these guys excited, getting these guys involved. And there's a buzz and an energy in this building that hasn't been there for the last couple of years, which is strange to say with Tom Brady when Tom Brady was there, But you look at this team this year, and I think they're really embracing this new offense. They're embracing, some of these guys are embracing position changes, especially in the offensive line. Godwin being able to play a little bit more outside than in the slot. And I think it's going to make for, if not a productive offense, at least a very fun offense to watch, and something that's not stale, something that's fresh and new, and concepts that are proving to work in the NFL, unlike what we saw last year.
God, yes. Please deliver us from that offense of last year. Dreadful. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'll take a shot whenever I can. You know that.
Oh, my God. It's like, I mean, I was watching. I'm a weirdo because I go back and watch some of these games because I want to see some of the, the other players like Kate Otten, which I'm going to ask you about. And it was so bad. I remember watching, coming in here every Monday and just going, God, it was so awful in the defense. What they scored 3 points, 6 points at every half. It was so bad. But you mentioned the tight ends, and obviously that's something they used a lot in Seattle. And I'm bullish on this team, but the tight end room to me has me a little bit concerned. Kate Otten he's so thin. And I don't know if he's filled out much. What I saw last week, I didn't get to see too much for one practice. O'Keefe is just, I love the dude, great guy, but he's just not a big guy. Like, he's not an inline tight end of good size. He tries hard. The draft pick, Payne, he's bigger, obviously, and he can catch the football. He's just so slow. The tight end room seems underwhelming to me. Am I missing something here? Especially if they're going to be lining up 2 and 3, a lot.
Yeah, I think O'Keefe is what he is. He's going to be that blocking tight end. What he lacks in size, he makes more than makes up for in effort and skill. Blocking is probably 60-70%
skill,
technique wise.
I mean, I see the dude dropping passes in the flat. He gets 4 targets.
I'm not talking about as far as skill as position. I'm talking about technique as a blocker.
Okay.
All right. The biggest thing for blocking is technique. It's obviously, bigger guys, stronger guys can overpower you, but if your technique is right, you're going to be able to put those guys and hold them at the line of scrimmage. So I think he brings that. I think with Otten, Last year's coming off ankle surgery, didn't really have that opportunity. And as we know, rookies, they're not training.
Right.
As soon as the college season ends, they're not training necessarily for football. They're training for the combine, training for their pro day. So having a full off season under his belt, he's there every day, working out in the weight room, getting bigger, getting stronger. I think that's going to help him tremendously. Now, do I think he's going to be some sort of all-pro tight end ever? No, but as an adequate fringe number one guy, top 20 tight end in the league, I think that certainly has potential for him. The tight end position is one of the hardest positions in the league. That's why there's only a handful of those top guys. So teams are always trying to look for that guy. Now, as far as Payne Durham, I think he's a solid blocker. He knows his limitations as a tight end. He's a big target, great catch radius, going to be really good in the red zone for them. And I think that's something that they missed a lot last year. He's a guy who can run those seam routes. Obviously, he's not fast, but has learned how to use his body and length to separate from guys to make those difficult catches. Now, would the Bucs like to add a veteran to the room? That's a possibility I could see. Right now, there's really no one attractive out there.
Yeah, we talked about that yesterday. There's nothing out there.
Right. Someone comes available during training camp, or someone gets cut. Maybe that's an avenue they'll look at. But right now, they're rolling with the youngest tight end room in the league, and that's what they've got to work with. They got a couple other guys, Dominique Daphne and some of these other guys who probably won't make the team, maybe practice squad consideration. But like I said, tight end's a hard position to land, and tight ends fall off quickly. Look at Jonnu Smith. Hunter Henry had some down years before bouncing back. Mike Gesicki, Austin Hooper, Hayden Hurst. The list of Dalton Schultz couldn't even get a deal that was, in the neighborhood he was looking for. Tight end's a hard position. It's a hard position to learn, hard position to play, because you're asked to be pretty much a lineman and a receiver. And it's hard to find those guys. So, Payne Durham's pro comp has been Jack Doyle. K. Dotton is kind of like that Hayden Hurst, Austin Hooper type tight end. If you can get two of those guys to reach that max potential, I think you're pretty good. Obviously, they're banking on a lot here, but like we said, there's really no tight ends out there for them to even consider bringing in anyways.
Mitchell Wilcox is out there, former USF guy.
Yeah. Who? Chris Wilcox?
Mitchell.
It was Mitchell Wilcox. Well, he was with
I think you can get some
Cincinnati
Mitchell Wilcox.
Year, right?
He was Cincinnati.
You can get the Wilcox next to the spotted dick.
Yeah, Cincinnati. He's the guy I actually identified in my Bucs battle plan way back in March for them to potentially go after, because he does have that experience in Cincinnati's offense, which is a product of that, Shanahan McVay offense.
Right.
He's a guy that can maybe bring in, but he's not a world changer. No. He's only really had one semi-productive year in the league. So, I mean, really, it's not like he's a massive upgrade. Right. Maybe a veteran voice, but not a massive upgrade in the tight end room.
Hey, I wanted to ask you about the offensive line, because the Bucs have been pretty vocal about the fact that they see Matt Filer as the starting left guard, and if not outright named him the starting left guard. And I know Pro Football Focus is not the end-all, be-all and stuff like that, but you compare him to Nick Leverett. It looks like Nick Leverett had a much better year last year, and I thought, all things considered, in a tough situation, he did a really good job. Do you think that's the right decision to go with Filer, at least right off the hook, or you think they're just so attracted by the size of him being next to Wirfs on the left side?
I think a lot of it is the size. I mean, at Todd Bowles, when he was talking at the end of the season, he emphasized that he wants to get bigger on the offensive line. I think having Filer allows you to do that. Nick Leverett's currently swapping with Jensen Silent, was swapping starting rotations reps at starting center. So they're cross-training him. He knows how to play left guard. He can play right guard. Now they're getting him really trained at center as well. So that versatility he brings, you really can't discount that on the offensive line. Same thing with Robert Hainsey and a couple of these guys. You want to have that versatility. But I think the size is a big factor of it. Again, like you said, Pro Football Focus is not the end-all, be-all.
Right.
You look at who, they lost their starting offensive lineman pretty early last year. So he was playing with some young guys who he had to kind of have to cover up for as well. I think we're going to see what it looks like in camp. Again, Brandon Staley is another one of these guys from that McVay system, so it's a system that he's familiar with. We're just going to have to see what it looks like when they have pads on. But, yeah, I mean, the sheer size of that offensive line on the left side, including Jensen at center, is just definitely something that jumps out immediately when you're looking at it and brings that intimidation factor, that strength, and really what they want on that offensive line is some bigger guys, bigger bodies, and they had that with Mock now, competing for that right guard spot, and obviously they have it with Gedeke over there at that right tackle spot.
J.C. Allen of Pewter Report joining the show here. Listen, the secondary, I think, has a chance to be just outstanding. And, when you've got two cover corners like Jamel Dean and Carlton Davis, you should be able to put a lot of pressure on the quarterback. You should be able to come up with a lot of exotic blitzes. I don't think Bowles did that as much as he should have last year. I think typically he's been high in the blitz rate. I think it came down a little last year. But I don't know. I just think that this defense needs to be uber aggressive, especially against this bevy of young quarterbacks that they're going to be facing. And I think with pressure and good defensive backs and Antoine, now being back in the middle there, more of a center fielder, I think that their interception level should go up dramatically, and they can be a real force. And this defense is going to have to carry this offense early on in the season. I think there's no question about that with the new offense and all that's going on. Your thoughts on the defense and the secondary in particular?
Yeah, I think you're right, and I think a lot of the reasons why they weren't able to be so aggressive last year was all the injuries they were dealing with. Yeah. Obviously, at a point in time, you had guys like D. Delaney playing safety. You had Logan Ryan who got injured. You had Keanu Neal, who's not really versatile. It's more of that just basically in the box safety. Moving Antoine Winfield back to free safety, having Ryan Neal back there, who graded out as PFF's number 1 rated safety in the league last year, having those two guys there who are versatile enough to both be able to intertwine at free safety, intertwine at strong safety, both play nickel, will allow them to do a lot of different disguises and different looks. Obviously, having Jamel Dean and Carlton Davis. Jamel Dean now getting recognition as a top 10 cornerback in the league. He's one of the very best to do it in press man coverage. When you look at Carlton Davis, he's been one of the top cover corners in the league for a while now that doesn't get enough recognition, mostly because he can't catch the ball. But, we've seen him shut down the likes of Devontae Adams, DeAndre Hopkins in his prime, Julio Jones in his prime. The list goes on and on of the guys that Carlton Davis has been able to shut down. And now you have a guy like, Jamel Dean, who's really taken that next step and has that 4.37 speed that can really put guys to keep up with the top end receivers in the league. The only question mark there is going to be nickel, and they're relying on a couple of young guys to potentially win that spot. D. Delaney's been getting a lot of looks there. They're looking at Christian Izzian, the undrafted free agent from Rutgers, and also Josh Hayes, the cornerback / safety that drafted in the 6th round from Kansas State. So that's the biggest weakness right now on this team is nickel cornerback, whether they choose to maybe look at the route of going in free agency at some point. And that wouldn't be until training camp starts, obviously, once they get a look at how these guys perform in pads. But, there are some guys still out there. Troy Hill, who played with the Rams, Bryce Callahan, who played with the Chargers. Those guys logged a lot of snaps at nickel. There are a couple safeties out there if they want to go that nickel safety route. But if you look at that base package, that 2 cornerbacks, 2 safeties, they have a chance to be one of the best secondaries in the league. It's just going to be turning in those pass deflections into interceptions. They got to get their hands on a lot more balls, create more plays. But as far as, the timing wise and really causing problems for quarterbacks because of their coverage ability, that should play into it huge. And that should give that defensive front a little bit more time to kind of get to the quarterback, finish with sacks, which was a huge problem from them last year. I know Anthony Nelson had 5 sacks, but really, his pressure rate compared to his sacks wasn't amazing. While Joe Triumph's pressure rate was amazing, his conversion to sack numbers weren't good. They obviously lost Shaq. Now he's coming back from a torn Achilles. They drafted a couple guys there, and Yaya Diaby and Jose Ramirez. We'll see how they function into that rotation, but as well as having Vita Vea and Kalijah Cansey, Logan Hall taking that step, Greg Gaines. They've got some players there. They just need to make sure that, they can finish when those cornerbacks and secondary give them the opportunity to make that QB hold onto that ball for that half second longer than he would like to.
Before you go, I have to ask you this question about one of the most divisive topics among Bucs fans, and that is the creamsicle, which is making its glorious return. I think JP would prefer that it would never come back. I would prefer that they wear it every single.
I just think it's a little over the top. You creamsicle people have lost your minds. Like it's the, greatest uniform in the history of sports. I
wasn't on Earth when they sucked in this uniform, so I don't have some of these battle scars
there you go.
that all the older Bucks fans. But I'd like to see it every single week. JC, what do you think about these creamsicles?
I'm always a fan of throwback uniforms. I think it plays great nostalgia to the teams, prior. To the organizations, the franchise, the Pat Patriot is a great logo. I think the Oilers is a great logo. The old school Seahawks is another great logo. And I really like the Bucco Bruce. I think it's good. It might be a little cartoonish, now given today's NFL where everything's got that, they've changed the Dolphins to be a little bit more meaner, and the Cardinals and the Seahawks and the Falcons. Everything's a little bit more meaner and aggressive looking to match today's game. But I like it. I like it for maybe 1 or 2 times a year. I wouldn't say every week, but it's a nice fresh. Anything's better than those alarm clock uniforms. I would rather see Bucco Bruce every single week than go back to those alarm clock uniforms.
Those were awful.
We spoke to Levante and Jamel, and they both got a sneak peek. Tristan as well, and they're a little bit different than what we saw. They're not the traditional. They've made some changes, tweaks to it. I'll give him a shout out here, Samurai Ali. On Twitter, he put out a really cool mock-up design that he had that I thought was really fresh and innovative. But, if they go something like that route, I'm all for it. We'll have to wait and see, but I'm all for bringing the throwback uniforms back here and now. Definitely not every week, but then again, it's a nice touch to pay homage to the history of what came before.
I think the GOAT's response to the creamsicle is all that needs to be said.
You never let this one die, do you?
He's like, I ain't wearing that freaking thing. No effing way am I putting that creamsicle shit on. No way. It was a one-off. It's all beautiful, but I think it's a little – people get a little crazy over the creamsicle.
You know what? I will say I like it better than the new Detroit Lions helmet. So
my God. What is
I
that
had to double check if that was if this was one of those spam accounts on Twitter.
That was so
there's
bad.
just no way that's real.
That's so ugly.
You know what it reminds me? It reminds me of the medieval, like a medieval shield might have as for a lion.
A little busy.
Like that,
it's a little busy.
They don't really know what it looks like. They've heard about it. And someone's like, I think this is what it looks like. We'll go with this. All
right, JC. Before you go, take one of our polls today with Joan Jett hanging out at the Trop in an Orioles shirt yesterday. What's the legendary rocker that you'd like to see at a Tropicana Field concert? We gave you Bon Jovi, Kiss, Springsteen, or other. Where are you going with that one?
Can I bring someone back from the dead?
Yes, absolutely. That's fair play.
Give me Queen all day.
Queen all day.
All day long. Let me see Freddie Mercury I want Bob Marley opening up for him.
Ooh, Bob Marley Queen combo?
At America's Ballpark?
At America's Ballpark? Could it even handle it? Throw in some
Jimi
Jimi Hendrix?
Maybe Jimi Hendrix says the night before. Who knows?
Oh my God.
But yeah, I'm going old school there. Journey's good if it's the original lead singer. I've seen Journey with the replacement lead singer. It's pretty good. You close your eyes, you can hear it pretty well. But yeah, give me that. I mean, some of these old rock bands. My mom was an '80s child, so I love the hair bands and stuff like that. But their voices are just shot nowadays, so they can't reach those notes anymore. So I don't want to see Vince Neil running around stage overweight trying to hit these notes anymore. Same thing with Guns N' Roses, but
I saw Freddie Mercury and Queen.
You know what? If I pick someone alive, I'd like to see Billy Joel. That would be a good one.
I've seen Billy Joel multiple times, and I saw Freddie Mercury and Queen back in the late '70s. How about that?
I will say the only older rock band from the 80s, 70s.
Did we lose him? Oh, we lost him. He was gonna give us
Dude still runs around the stage screaming. He can hit all those notes from an Iron Maiden. So I mean, he's a good one too.
Who is that? We cut out for a second there. Who were you talking about?
Oh, Iron Maiden.
Oh, gotcha.
Oh.
He still hits all those notes. I don't know how he does it, but he's still screaming at the top of his lungs, full of energy on stage. It's a fun concert to watch.
It's crazy stuff. All right, brother, good stuff. Everybody check out J.C. Allen and the Pewter Report, pewterreport.com, all their podcasts and their YouTube channel as well. Please subscribe.
Yeah, big podcast coming up tonight. We got Dave Canales on.
Oh, nice.
at 7 p.m. So definitely tune into that at Pewter Report TV over on YouTube.
Oh, I'm definitely going to turn in for that.
It's going to be a good podcast tonight.
He's like Dickie V. Ask him one question, you can go to the bathroom and come back 25 minutes later, and you're good to go. Yeah.
It's great. The amount of information he gives you voluntarily, without having to pry things from him, is a very night and day scenario from last year.
Come on, better than Leftwich? You're such a hater. My God, what's wrong with you?
You know what? I think he knows the difference between fantasy football and play action. So it's already off to a good start.
All right, brother. Good stuff. Thanks, JC. Appreciate it, buddy.
Absolutely. Always a pleasure. Talk to you guys
7 o'clock, Pewter Report, Dave Canales. Good stuff. All right, we're almost out of time, thankfully, for this crazy-ass show. What did we not get to today?
I think we got it. We hit everything today.
We
went all over the place.
Go to our Twitter and take our poll for the legendary rocker and also your favorite draft. I'll be watching a little bit of the NBA draft tonight, maybe, just to freeze. I'm going to see you the Magic.
I'll tune in a little bit, but I've got bigger things to handle, and that's called It's Bump Day, baby.
You got a softball game tonight, huh?
Well, if weather permitting, I play at 9:30 tonight, so I'll be waiting around. But I got McClanahan to watch. Oh, I'm going to be at the Columbia tonight, actually.
Oh, nice. Enjoy that.
I will have fun.
The 1905 salad.
Of course.
Absolutely, got to have that. All right, folks, thanks again for joining us. Appreciate all our sponsors as well. We will be back tomorrow with more fun and frivolity. See you then. Go Rays.
Catch the JP Peterson Show Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern. In the meantime,